get ready with me while I stay at home and make content. Okay, no, but in all seriousness, let's talk about the top 3 things you're gonna need to do after you leave a narcissistic or toxic person. Don't know why I'm doing this. I just need to go get them done. The first thing that you're gonna really need to understand, ironically, is you're not going to understand everything that just happened to you, because we can't understand the mind of a narcissist fully. But that does not mean that you cannot accept what happened to you. In fact, radical acceptance, in my opinion, is the #1 thing that you're gonna need to reach before you can truly heal from this. Radical acceptance does not mean full understanding. If we're going to understand them, we'd have to be like them. And I don't know about you, I don't really feel like reducing myself down as a human being in order to understand them. How do we reach this radical acceptance? Well, first and foremost, you have to stop denying yourself of your own reality. And you have to accept the fact that there was nothing that you could have done to prevent their actions, because it's just who they are. It's really important to understand that after discard, a narcissistic or toxic person is going to live their life as though you were watching. If they already have a new supply, they're gonna do everything with this new person that they wouldn't do for you. Or if they don't have a new supply lined up just yet, they might do what my ex did. And that is got very active on social media to try to prove to me and everyone else around him that he was doing just fine without me. Now, please learn from my mistake on this. Don't try to compete with them. Don't try to play their game or beat them at their own game. It's just gonna set you up to get hurt. And honestly, all that it does is it just reduces you down to their level. And it's very high school. The reason why it's important to not play their game is because the manipulation does not stop just because the relationship ends. And I know this is really hard, but your best protection against this little tactic that they do is just to not look, because they are going to do it on purpose. Even if you're blocked on their social media or you've blocked them, they are still gonna do it in hopes that some person is going to send you screenshots and be like, can you believe what he just said? They're gonna be very intentional about what they post, who they post with, who they hang out with, and what they say. It's all just part of the game. Please understand that you are not crazy. There's literal brain damage that comes from chronic trauma. The main areas is actually something called the HPA axis, which I've posted about that before, so go watch that video. But there's chemical changes that actually happen to your brain when you are under this amount of stress for this long of time. Now, the unfortunate thing about that is that you have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of mental detoxing that has to be done after you get out of any sort of relationship with a narcissistic person. And that can feel very unjust because you're having to do all this work while they're out living their life and damaging the next person that comes into their circle. The problem that I had with that thinking is that I was still making it about them. And ultimately, my healing had absolutely nothing to do with my narcissistic ex. It had everything to do with me reclaiming my life. Now, while we're on this topic of discussion, let me please encourage you, do not compare your healing timeline to anyone else's. We all went through different levels of trauma. We've all had different traumas in our life up until this point. So maybe some of us have had opportunities to build resiliency that others may not have had. It's just too freaking long. We also all had different experiences in the relationship itself. So comparing your timeline, it's just not fair to you. And at the end of the day, who cares how long this takes you? All that matters is that you're actually putting in the work. Comparison really is the thief of all joy. So don't compare yourself to other people who have healed, and especially don't compare yourself to your narcissistic ex. Find a plan that works for you. Diligently work your plan and tenaciously pursue your own healing.